So welcome to another episode of the Inquisitive Mind of Louis T. We are doing another live studio audience broadcast here at Bourgie Nights, downtown Wilmington, Princess Street. Make sure you book your parties or events here at Bourgie Nights. Big shouts out to Billy Mellon and Mitch Warnecke for having us here. So this is part two, but hopefully you checked out the other episode when we were talking about how college players should be compensated. And this one right here, we're going to go to the professional level. So after compensation of college players, we're going to kind of just be talking about, well, a big focus on Kaepernick, but we're just going to be kind of talking about the NFL and as a whole, how they treat their players and kind of go down the line. So again, I'm going to have my panel introduce themselves. I'm going to start from the end to the far left, and then I'm going to work their way to the inner right to me.
Yeah, what's up? My name's Lavar Moultrie. I go by Mo, so if you see me anywhere, you just call me Mo, man. Local here to Wilmington. Went away for a little bit to serve my country, came back. Been back for the last almost 20 years. So.
And I'm Thomas Pryor. That's Pryor, Pryor, like Richard, no relation though. From the University of North Carolina, graduated of 2007, and been in the port since.
First and foremost, thank you, Louis T, for inviting me to the podcast. My name is Tarence Williams. I didn't want to make y'all look bad. But my name is Terrence.
But I will.
But I will.
My name is Tarence Williams. I am a Port City native. I graduated from E.A. Laney High School in '99. Went to Wake Forest, graduated there in '03, came back, and I've been here ever since. The owner of Beast Behavior brand and the Running Back Club brand.
It seemed like you're about to go back to Williston. I thought you were about to say Williston for a split.
Not Williston, but Noble, yeah.
Okay. And I am your host, the Inquisitive Mind of Louis T, IMoLT podcast. And like I said before, we got episode 1. We were talking about college players being compensated, and then now we're gonna, just the focus on kind of like Kaepernick. I got some players, like me. It's easy for me to say I'm not gonna watch sports and football because Panthers ain't done good in a long time, so I can easily boycott not watching the Panthers right now. But I got some people that I'm sure love the game, and also black males. So I really haven't really talked to anyone. So I'm going to find out kind of how their views on this. We didn't do any anything. So kind of go down like before, do a tester, and just kind of brief. How do y'all feel about Kaepernick and his situation? And I'm gonna start T and then work my way down.
As far as the Kaepernick situation, me personally, I'm not a big protester. Okay. But I'm not against protesting either. As far as what Kaepernick was kneeling for, I'm definitely more than 100% all for it, because it's something that I personally can relate to. And I know, being a young black male, I know many other young black males and black people who's been mistreated by the authority, by the police, and things like that. But that doesn't mean that I'm against police. I just want to throw that out there. But
we're just talking about Kaepernick, brief, kind of whatever.
I am all for Kaepernick, what he did and how he did it. I don't know any other way, no other platform that he could have done it on to get everybody to realize what's really going on in America. So, so I'm all for it.
Okay. Yeah. And Thomas, What's your feelings towards Mr. Colin?
Oh, I 100% am with Colin Kaepernick and what he stands for as far as the social injustice that goes on and plagues our community, if you will. I think he's also his case is definitely proven that it's collusion in keeping him out, because obviously he's shown that he can still play, and nobody sat there and even had him try. So.
Okay. And Mo?
Yeah, no, I support the brother 100%. You know, as far as like how he did it, hey, however you do it, as long as you do it and follow through, I'm with you, man. You know what I mean? You don't get to tell another person. I'm one of the people. I don't get to tell you how to reach your goals. I can either support you or get out your way, but I don't get to tell you. But so I'm with him 100%. You know.
So as people that play the game and love the game, did any of y'all stop watching after he got quote unquote blackballed from the game? Like, did y'all take part of that protest at all?
I never stopped watching the game. Like I said, I'm not a big protester. I just feel like, you know, once you do protest, I think from there, action should transpire. You know, it should, you know, take it to another level. And I don't know what that is. Of course, I don't want that to be a violent situation. But, you know, I didn't stop watching the game. You know, I love football. I love, you know, I played football since I was 6, so it's sort of hard to stop watching something that you played so long and don't play anymore. So you want some sort of, you know, you want that feeling of, you know, that you used to have, you know, as far as what the game brings to the table. But
yeah, no, I will say that I kept watching football. Now, did I watch professional football as much? No, I didn't, but my work schedule had more to do with that than actual protests, so I can't say much there. But just like Tarence said, I mean, you still want to look at the game and like diagnose the place. Like, I love diagnosing what a play is going to be before it even happens. Mm-hmm. So for me, I couldn't just give it up kind of cold turkey like that. You know, it's the way I looked at it. So.
No?
Yeah, nah, I never made a conscious effort to not watch. Like I said, life at certain points made it where I wasn't watching as much. But, you know, my sons love to watch football. They love to play football. They love watching me play football. You know what I mean? So it's a deeper connection to the game than something that one singular issue is gonna sever for me. You know what I mean? Like, just me personally. You know. So, but yeah, I still watch it. You know. Now I've got feelings about like the whole boycotting watching football thing anyway, as far as being effective.
So
but
what's your feelings about boycotting the NFL?
Like, I feel like it's just like, you know, like in our last podcast, you know, make sure y'all check it out when we're talking about college football and stuff. I always say it's levels to it, man. I'm one of the people, like, there needs to be action and then a reaction and then a further plan of action. You know, I feel like if every black people are what, 20-some% of the population, 30% maybe. You know what I mean? If every black person, even if every minority said we're not watching football on TV anymore, you know what I'm saying? But just think about Charlotte. You don't got to go to the game, but there's about 70 major corporations within a 1 mile radius of that stadium. They're there because of that stadium. That's what got them there. Their sales are going to be counted towards football-driven revenue in that town. Are you going to boycott those places? Because as long as you go to those places, they're still going to keep paying rent and investing money in that football team and the NFL because it's bringing them business. I was like, so if you ain't going to take it all the way, I ain't going to take a baby step and give myself a high five. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's just my thing. I'm like, I felt anytime, and anybody that still knows me on social media, they know any Kaepernick-related topic, I spoke up. You know, I made multiple videos and stuff, and I was willing to have that tough conversation with people because there's a conversation that needed to be had. But me not watching football when no one else knows if I did or not, I don't feel like it added or took away from my stance on the stuff he was actually protesting. You know what I'm saying?
So, and Thomas touched on this, and I was actually off camera, kind of just talking about this. So are y'all all in agreement, or maybe not? Do you feel like he should be playing right now?
Absolutely. I absolutely do. I looked at I'll mention something about it to someone I met at while I was out and about, and they were like, "Oh, he's not even that good," I was like, I literally pulled up the 2015 stats. So that was the last year he played, right?
Yeah.
I said, let's pull up his stats versus who was the MVP that year. It was Cam Newton. Let's pull up their stats together. Guess who had better stats? Colin Kaepernick had better stats than Cam Newton. But because he was on a losing team, nobody talked about it, and everybody just assumed that he was terrible. And with him doing that workout that he did, what was it, a month ago? Like, still showing I can still throw the ball, I can still run the ball. And, we got Ryan Fitzpatrick out there. Nothing against Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love Fitzpatrick. Fitzmagic, baby. But I think he definitely there are NFL teams that, like, I look at my Bucks. I was like, go grab him, and let's just go ahead and let's sit Jameis for the rest of the year. Just go grab Colin, and we'll play. So, yes, he should be playing.
Me personally, my whole spin on it, my perspective is, on paper, like Thomas said, I truly believe that Colin Kaepernick should have a job in the NFL. But by him taking initiative on a situation that's so much more important than the game of football, so much bigger than the game of football, I don't really care if he plays again or not, to be honest with you.
He wants to play, though.
I don't really.
Or maybe.
I want to play football. I want to play football.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like, it's bigger than that. It was unfair how the NFL did him, but I'm more so for him pushing the narrative of the police brutality on black people.
And I'm gonna come
See
back.
what I'm saying? Like, I
I'm
don't
gonna come back to that
Okay.
because I feel like that get lost, but I want to talk about that. But first, I just want to get Mo. Do you feel that Kaepernick should be playing, like he has the ability that he should be in the NFL right now?
I mean,
ability-wise?
I feel like he can play, but I also feel like he's not owed an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like Terrence said, he picked up a cause that needed to be picked up and ran with. But day one, like, I knew he was done. Because, you know what I mean, you just can't. The system don't like getting pushed.
Good old boy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? He knew what it was going to be.
Man.
And I
respect him.
I respected him more for sticking to it and not backing, like not just immediately caving, because they was in his ear day one. Hey man, let's tailor this message a little, and he stuck with it, and I respect that. And I hate that our society is one that you can't take a stance on something like that affects all of our society without getting punished. But I mean, he knew it was a snake when he picked it up, and it bit him. You know what I mean? But like I said, was it worth it to me? Like, yeah, it was worth it. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And I hope it's still worth it to him. But like, I don't feel like he should be playing in the NFL. I feel like if a team gave him an opportunity, I feel like he could take advantage of it. But or deserves to, it's like it's their private businesses. You know what I mean? They get to choose who they want to hire.
That's true. And like I want to talk about the whole thing, but I want to kind of circle. We're gonna just be circling a whole lot.
Yeah.
But with that, so we're talking about he was, and for those who might not know, Colin Kaepernick was kneeling. He was kneeling for social injustice, like kneeling for police brutality, because so that 2005, even 16, it was a terrible year. I mean, and we don't know if it's any different, but at least visually, there's a lot of videos of young African Americans being quote unquote unjust or just that's not even a conversation, but it seems murdered by people who's here to protect and serve. I feel like that message, as soon as he tried to get that message out, got buried by so many other things. And people don't even talk about the real reason why he was kneeling. Like, is that just my point of view, or how do y'all feel about that?
But that's what I was saying. From my perspective, I'm with you on this. Like, football is a game that I love, Mo love, Thomas love, and definitely Colin Kaepernick loves. You know, when you play sports, you're passionate about that sport. But like I said, this situation is so much bigger than sports, and people try to make it seem like it's not. You know, when we talk about him kneeling, you know, the first thing you hear is, you know, he's disrespecting the flag, he's disrespecting the military. But he came out his mouth verbally and said that he wasn't disrespecting the flag or the military. And if he was, then I would see why people. If he said, "Look, I don't care about America. I don't care about the flag. I don't care about any of this." He didn't say that. If he did, I would see why people have a problem. I understand why people have a problem, because the people that have problems with him kneeling is the fact that they don't understand why he's kneeling. They never experienced that situation. I have, and I know many young black males and females who has experienced the situation that he's talking about. You see what I'm saying? So people only want to be against what doesn't pertain to them. If it was their family or their loved ones, then they'll understand. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I say I understand why people are against him kneeling and why they think it's disrespecting the flag during the national anthem. It has nothing to do with that. Could he have done it somewhere else? Absolutely. But where else are you going to get the platform to do that?
Exactly.
And like I said, if it was me, I never would have done that. Not because I'm against it. It's because I'm not a protester from that aspect. Like, the way I protest is what I'm doing now, is voicing, voicing the reason and voicing, you know, how I really feel and what's really right, you know. It's unfair, you know, social injustice. That's what he was kneeling for.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing else. Nothing else. It wasn't anything else.
Yeah.
You know.
And Mo, you and I, but I'll say more so you, because I was in the National Guard, member of the military, and I mean, this was one of the things that kind of really sparked a big dialogue between the two. As someone that plays football and also a member of the military, like, how do you feel about him kneeling? Did you feel any disrespect from that?
Nah, man. Like, and it's something I say all the time. I'm like, if you go on any social media platform, you see there's thousands of groups and that back of military active and veterans that back him, because I spent 3.5 years of my 5 years in the military almost on foreign soil, you know, defending his right to protest. Like, it's the Constitution, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't raise my right hand and swear to defend the flag or somebody's patriotism, whatever. I raised my right hand to defend people's rights, because that Bill of Rights is something that every American citizen, nobody can take from them, and that's what I was willing to go out there and lay it down for. And so that's what it trips me out, when people want to scream patriotism and the Constitution. He hates America when he's just exercising one of the inalienable rights that America was built upon. You know what I mean? And like I said, I spoke on it before, and I was just like, he literally kneeled. At first, he was sitting down on the bench. A military, like a spec ops veteran, told him, "Hey, it'll be more respectful if you take a knee, because as a soldier, and unfortunately, I've had to do it. I've had opportunities to do it. If a soldier falls, you take a knee. You know, everybody's seen the silhouette or a soldier on one knee holding his weapon. You know what I mean? And that's what on the sports field. If somebody gets hurt on the sports field, what do you do out of respect?
Take a knee.
Everybody takes a knee. You know what I mean? And so he did it. He actually, the guy came to him and he was open to the guy critiquing and telling him, "Hey man, I understand what you're doing, but so as not to be disrespectful, do it this way." You know, and then but people, you know, like I said, people just took it and wanted to make it what they wanted it to be about, just because they knew it would be an easy thing to scream and just deflect the conversation and never have to talk about what he was really kneeling for. You know what I mean? But as a veteran, I've yet to meet, I've met some older white men who served like in Vietnam and stuff, you know, but they also my dad wasn't allowed to go to high school with them. You know what I mean? From that generation, that are still saying, "Oh no." But most people are most veterans are in the military community are like, "Hey, man." Yeah, I had a guy say it best one time. He said, "Tell you what, if you are when the anthem's playing, if you are doing what you're supposed to do, if you stand with your hand over your heart and close your eyes and reflect on how proud you are of this nation, you'll never see someone taking a knee." You know what I mean? And he's like, you would have never seen it. You know, he said, so how can he disrupt your reverence for that moment by being quiet somewhere? He said, I can see if he was screaming and running around, then yeah, somebody sit your ass down somewhere. You know, you're taking away from everybody else. You're making everybody else. Nobody can have their moment because you're just stealing it. But if you just take a knee, like, I don't know how much more respectful he could have been about it. I really don't. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean,
that's
really the most non-confrontational.
Yeah.
You're not, there's no signs stopping people from getting to work or impeding any kind of, it's not stopping any business, and you're getting your point across.
Yeah,
it's
people
like,
just didn't want to see it.
You know, it's like, oh, you should protest. Oh, no, but don't do it that way.
Yeah, no.
Like, protest the way we want. We want you to do a Facebook petition and protest that way.
In a way they can ignore it.
Exactly.
Not make it a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you a question, man. And
I ask the questions, Terrence. God, this is my show. The T ain't the inquisitive amount of the T ain't for Terrence.
He trying to appropriate, bro.
Is it me or we just America? We're becoming numb to the fact that there's actual video footage of pretty much everything these days, but we actually see what Kaepernick was kneeling for. We actually see it right before our eyes, and we see it so much that we're numb to it. It's like okay, it's like eating every day or drinking water every day.
I'm definitely not numb to it because I've been,
I'm talking from a general standpoint, though.
I mean, I'm honing that in for me, but it's so how can I say it? To me, it's odd how sometimes, and I'm not someone that's outspoken about these things as much as like Mo, but I be in them comments looking to see who I need to shout out, how divisive some of these things are.
Yeah.
Like when to me, it should not be a divisive thing. It's like, is that police officer's life in jeopardy? No, then shouldn't be no reason why they're using deadly force. And to me, it's like, for most situations, it's that cut and dry. And for me, I know you're saying in general, and I mean, you get numb when you see so much. Cause like, how many times can you be outraged? I mean, like that the year that Cap was kneeling, how many videos went viral? How many videos didn't go viral that people just saw? And then you got the ones where people actually got shot and killed. Then you just got the ones where people got shot or beat up and they didn't die from it. It's becoming, it's like because like how long can you be outraged where your outrage is just the norm, and then you gotta like be like am I just gonna stay mad? So you gotta almost numb yourself. Yeah. Because it's like and the thing is, this has been going on since Rodney King. Well, before Rodney King. But I mean, videotape.
Rodney King was televised. That's the only thing.
Like, if you listen to rap music, this has been people. We've had our own reporters, street journalists, documenting this stuff. It's like for quote, and I'm just gonna like for white people or just people not in the know, this is something new because of the cameras and the access. But if you go back and listen to any gangster rap album from 1988, you're gonna hear about police brutality.
Yeah, but
so it's like it's kind of hard to be outraged when it's not anything new. The only thing new is the camera. Yep. And that the lack of it's like, with this camera and this evidence, nothing's being done about it. Like, what more do you need other than evidence going on.
And like to Terrence's point, like, bring it back to the NFL, like I think that's why that narrative of disrespecting the anthem and the flag and the military was piped up so hard because there was no logical or rational debate that opposed what Kaepernick was saying. There was nothing anyone could say that could say, no, you're wrong about what you're saying. You know what I mean? Right. So if you can't win an argument, you deflect from that argument. You know what I mean? It was their way of not having to deal with it.
They definitely
it became Kaepernick's problem instead of the NFL's problem. You know what I mean? Like the NFL that was 70% young black men between the ages of 20 and 35, or 40. Like now, they don't got to deal with it. It's Kaepernick versus America. You know what I'm saying?
America.
Because there was nothing anyone could say to look Terrence in the face and say, hey, this is why when we watch these videos, we don't feel like we need to do A, B, and C. There's nothing they could say. So they had to, like the one percenters did the work for them. A lot of American people, once they picked up that disrespect thing and ran with it, they were like, NFL was like, they wouldn't even they didn't really put any statements out for like 3 months because they didn't have to.
Because it's a money game.
Exactly,
it's
bro.
a money game, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, like we were talking about, with college sports and paying college athletes and things of that nature, it's all one big money game, and that's the bottom line,
Mm-hmm.
By Kaepernick kneeling, it caused a lot of conflict, financial conflict. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You had people from both sides who was against him and for him not watching the NFL, bringing the ratings down, which ultimately brings, it does not bring money to the table.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the NFL, it's a money game, man.
Yeah.
So of course you got to get him out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I know I was doing another event, and the owner of that venue, brother, printed shirts and stuff for the NFL. And before all the protesting, like it went from like a 3 million, I think like a 3 million piece order to like a 300,000 piece order from the NFL. Like so, because they said it wasn't just from people protesting, like because of Kaepernick. It's kind of people that was protesting because people were kneeling. And so it's like, I think the NFL definitely felt like, I felt like for better or worse, the protest kind of worked. That's where I think that's why we got to the part of the reason why we got to the tryouts. Also, as someone was telling me, it's just like so for them to just look like they're doing their due diligence.
Exactly.
But I feel like, because to me, the one time protesting does work. Like when you just hooting and hollering, as we done. Traditionally, that hasn't done much for us, but when you affect someone's bottom line,
Exactly.
that is what evokes change.
Yep, you mess with somebody's money, they're gonna look at
And
it.
so, but the thing is, I think the NFL didn't know which one is going to hurt worse. It's like, do we support these people? Like they trying to ride the line because right now you're losing on two sides.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to pick which side they want. Because you can't play both sides of the fence. So I mean, they need to pick which side and then stick there.
And it's a numbers game. I mean, you got 37% of the population, or 33, or 66. You know what I mean? Like even if only 75% of white people just forgot about it and started coming back to the games and watching, they can get more of a return than if all black people quit watching. You know what I mean? So that's why I think after that first season, I felt like people not attending the games, that hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
once they got so much stuff was on Groupon.
Yeah.
Like man, you could have got some Christmas gifts off because they had all kind of NFL stuff on Groupon.
But once they I always say, once they made it okay to not have to not deal with it anymore, for people, no matter what color you are. I mean, that people that were like in the middle ground, once they made it comfortable enough for them to go back to watching football or doing what they want to do without feeling guilty or feeling like, oh man, somebody's gonna like hot button on one way or the other.
Yeah.
Then that's all the NFL wanted. They just wanted to get back to where it was okay to enjoy football again. And
where
not
it's
have
not
that
so
conversation.
divisive. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's what it is. But I mean, it's a progression. You know, and it was to be expected. You know, but that's why like now you ask us like, do you not? Will you boycott? No, I'm not going to boycott football. Like I don't feel like me not watching it. Like I might go to one game every 3 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
So me not watching it on TV is, they ain't moving the needle. Like I said, like Tarence said, now action.
It's all about
moves the needle. Action moves the needle.
So how do y'all feel about the tryouts? Like, do you feel like he was wrong for moving it? Do you feel like they were actually trying to give him a shot to play football?
No, not at all.
Here's the deal, man. We all know the answer. I think that was a rhetorical question, right?
I don't know. I'm just it's temperature.
We all know the answer to that, man. But at the end of the day, me personally, I don't care if he plays football ever again. If he plays again, I'm happy for him. If he doesn't play again, I'm more so proud of him for standing up for.
So, you're a Bears fan. Would you take him?
I don't care if the Bears get him.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Would you want him on the Bears?
I mean, I don't know.
See,
I don't know. Like, but it's bigger than football for me. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to answer like the football questions. Like, because the more we talk about the football, I know we're here to do this, but the more we talk about, should he get a tryout? Shouldn't he not get a tryout? I don't know, and I don't care. What I care about is the common denominator. The main thing, the meat of this whole situation, is he knelt for social injustice. Am I correct?
For us,
right. Yeah.
And we get further and further away from that. And I feel like everybody, and if anybody's watching this, I feel like everybody needs to understand why he knelt, how he did it. You might not agree, but let's agree to disagree on that. I don't care how. Like I said, I'm not a protester. I protest by action. You understand what I'm saying? So understand why he did it. That's the important part. I don't care if he plays football again. I don't care. Why he did it is the important part. Do you understand why he did it? That's my question to you. To everybody against him kneeling, do you understand why he did it? Do you genuinely understand? And if you don't care to understand, I'm here to help you understand that I care. You understand? Like, and I see these comments on Facebook, like he's such a bad person, he's ignorant, he's not patriotic, yada yada. He's probably not patriotic, but that doesn't make him ignorant because he's standing for something that he's against.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And my question to you as well, for people who's against him kneeling and the reason why he did it, what if he was kneeling on that same platform on the NFL field? What if he was kneeling for sex trafficking or to be against sex trafficking in America? Specifically young white teenagers. What if he was kneeling for that? How would you feel then? Would you still think he's disrespecting the military? Would you still think he's disrespecting the flag? It's just a question. And I'll take the fall for that, but I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know because the majority of my comments were coming from on that end. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not a color thing, it's a real thing. And like I said, some people don't experience certain things, which makes them not understand or not want to understand, don't care to understand what's really going on here in America. I've experienced police brutality. I've experienced being racially profiled, being pulled over by the cops for no reason. Ever since I was a teenager and started driving. Matter of fact, and I'm not gonna be long, man, but matter of fact, I just wanna throw this out there. Ever since I was a teenager, when I first got my license, my parents always told me, before I leave the house, my mom says, and my dad, make sure if a cop pulls you over, please be polite. Please do this. Please have both hands on the steering wheel. Please don't get out of the car. Please don't do this. Like a whole list of things that I know my white buddy parents never ever said. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like I said, I'm not saying it's a color thing. It's my experience. You understand? So when Colin Kaepernick, when he's standing up for something like that, I'm all for it. I don't care if he did it on an NFL field. I don't care if he did it. I don't care how he did it. It's all about the meat of the problem, And until this day, my parents still say the same thing. I go to their house, you know what they say? Before I kiss my mom on the cheek and hug my dad, they tell me the same thing. 20 years, the same thing. Does that make sense?
No, not at all, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've experienced that. So the people who don't experience that or haven't experienced that, I'm letting you know the reason why Colin Kaepernick, why he knelt.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. It's not disrespecting the flag. It's not being unpatriotic. It's not disrespecting the military. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with what I just said. So if you respect me, and not just as a young black male, you respect me as a human being.
Exactly.
Respect that.
Yep.
Because fair is fair and unfair is unfair. It's not fair how black people's being treated in America, period. That's the problem. That's the situation he was kneeling on, period. It's other situations out there. Sex trafficking, drugs, abuse, everything's out there. He could have knelt for any of that, and I'm all for it. Period. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. Which side are you on is the question I have for you, point blank, period. So.
How y'all feel?
Oh no, I mean get back like to the tryout thing. Like I knew it was a sham. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was just the NFL's attempt to catch him slipping and get him to damn sign that contract thing. It was a different waiver, and it would have released them. It would have been they get out of jail free card if he didn't get picked up or if anything else came out down the road that they didn't give a shit if he got a job or not. You know what I mean? But if anything came up, he couldn't pursue them legally. You know what I mean? And like I said, I was kind of proud of the guy, man. I was shocked the way he handled it, but I was proud. I was like, he hit him with he damn hit him with the okie doke. Like, you know, he got that kind. He expected them to do what they did, and he had a plan for it. And even after his trial, when he was like, "Hey, y'all stop being scared. Y'all come watch this film." I'm like, this dude really telling the owners, like, stop being scared. Come sign me. Like he knew he didn't have a chance in the first place.
So
you know what I mean? So
I'm gonna hold on, because I'm gonna devil's advocate a little bit here. And I mean, he went to arguably a job interview wearing a Kunta Kinte shirt. So now, if y'all saying he didn't have a chance of getting a job anyway, I guess it didn't matter.
Yeah. No.
But like to me, someone like, and like a lot of the people that we're talking to and talking about, for the naysayers or just the ignorant, for appearance, wouldn't it wouldn't it have been better to just wear a Nike shirt or something? And I understand the contract.
Yeah.
You should have definitely adjusted the contract, but and did the tryouts at the Atlanta stadium, because being that he moved the tryouts, X amount of teams couldn't make it because I'm thinking about.
They could have made it.
They could have made it. It was 45 minutes down the road.
They could have made it.
At a high school.
No, in Atlanta, I'm thinking about moving to Atlanta.
Yeah.
25 minutes ain't 25 minutes during
I
traffic.
feel you.
You don't
I
know.
understand.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they
I mean,
could.
I'm just saying you're giving them and all I'm saying, I'm not arguing that.
No,
I'm just
I feel
saying
you.
You're giving them an excuse so the people that are, because there's certain people that's over here, and we're not going to get to those people, but there's people that's like on the fence of understanding what we're talking about and being swayed and, you know, allies or whatever. But you look at little things like that, him wearing the Kunta Kinte t-shirt, him changing it, and because a lot of, you know what I mean? Because this generation is all about a headline. People don't get to the meat of what's going on. So they see the picture of him wearing the Kunta Kinte shirt, and they see they changed the venue. He's being unreasonable. All right, react.
If the NFL wanted
Everybody except Terence.
Nah, I mean, just real quick, like Lou, I know you don't follow. You ain't big. You know what the Rooney Rule is?
No.
In the NFL, the Rooney Rule is it was an initiative. It was kind of like almost like affirmative action. It was a thing where teams have to show an active effort to include minority candidates into their coaching hiring practices.
Technically means candidate.
Yeah.
They can see one.
Yeah.
And
So
fulfill that.
so what it is, like I use the Chiefs. You know, their offense has been prolific. Eric Bieniemy, he's like the OC. He's like big on their offense game plan right now. Black coach. He's like followed the same coaching experience curve as two of the other coaches that just got hired, white coaches. Like you watch ESPN as all these coaches jobs were opening up, all you saw was all these white coaches' resume. You never even heard Eric Bieniemy be mentioned, unless they said, "Oh," and they also interviewed Eric Bieniemy after they announced them hiring this other white coach. You know what I mean? So Eric Bieniemy knows he ain't getting these jobs, and he knows why. You know what I mean? He has, on paper, he's as good or not better than most of them. You know what I mean? And in practice, in an application. But he knew. So as far as like the Kunta Kinte shirt and saying, oh, he did this and this, that'd be like if Eric Bieniemy knew that, let's just say, the Cowboys were going to interview him, but they weren't going to hire him because it's already been leaked and everything else. They're going to hire somebody else. And he go to the interview with an Eagles jersey on. Because he's like, you know what? Screw y'all. All right, like, you know what? I know what time it is. So why am I going to take you serious when I know you're not taking me serious? I'm gonna make a point, and y'all are going to talk about this. And the thing that has me upset is going to have to get talked about. This sham Rooney Rule is going to have to get talked about because you can't talk about me being outrageous in this interview without talking about what made me do it. And I think that's what Kaepernick played in the long game. He said, they're being so outrageous with the way they try to throw this together and all the things they put up against me. You know what? I see y'all having me do a workout on a Tuesday when no NFL teams are available to come see. You know, a lot of the main people ain't got, and I'm going to raise you a Kunta Kinte shirt. You know what I mean? Because, hey, if we're going to be silly, let's be all the way silly. You know what I mean? And I think that's where he went. So, I mean, putting the normal expectations of someone seeking a position on him in that situation, the normal rules don't apply. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he just said, you know what? I'm going to have the stage, and I'm going to give him something to talk about. And he's saying, and more people are going to watch that. They're going to click play on that video because they're going to see this shirt, and they're going to hear what I got to say so they can rail against it. But guess what? They still heard what the hell I had to say. You know what I mean? I think that was his plan. And I agree with you 100%. I'm not going to be long, man. I promise. I agree with you 100%. But I still think him trying out on that day or whatever at the high school, I still think it steers away from the original problem. Mm-hmm. So like you said, with him wearing that shirt, which I don't care what shirt he has on. He could have wore a shirt with Chuck Norris on it. I don't care.
Yeah. With beast behavior on it.
Hopefully one day somebody, right? Yeah. But I don't care about that, man. Yeah. Me personally, I don't care about him being in the NFL, and I don't care about how Roger Goodell or the NFL organization is how they're doing him right. Well, I take that back. I do care about how they're doing him right now, but they're doing him like that. They treated him like that simply because of what he stood for.
Yeah, right.
The meat of the problem. Right now, we're getting away from the whole situation. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why he's out of the league, because what he stood for. He could have did it anyway, but he's out of the league because of that.
But yeah, I mean, but you shouldn't. I mean, I think the whole thing is you should be able to, if you're not, like at any job, like if you're not harming that job and you're still performing at your job, you should be able to keep your job. Like if I do now, but I mean, when Mo touched on this, I mean, if you're working for a a private job, like if I worked at Bourgie Nights and I was doing something on my off time, but if the owner Billy didn't like it, if I was playing too much 2019 hip hop music and not enough 80s like I was doing earlier, and Billy didn't like that, Billy could let me go. But typically, if you're working for a big enough organization, but most likely because Billy enjoys money, and if I bring him money and I do my job better than the next person that he's going to bring for the same amount of money or even less money, most likely that business owner is going to keep me employed. You know what I mean? Like, so I see both ends of it, but I mean what we're talking about, like, and I was just having like this conversation, like Cap is better than a lot. There's a lot of terrible quarterbacks, especially a couple seasons ago, and there's a lot of people hurt. And you would think, And I mean, just me, and I'm not a football guy, but I would think with what he's standing for, if it wasn't a bigger conspiracy, like someplace like Detroit or Atlanta, someplace that has predominantly African American and people support, I would think he would be a draw. Just the same way as Cam Newton's a draw to, was a draw to the Panthers. He would be a draw to that team. So not only do you got people coming to your stadium, you got someone who can perform, especially if he start putting W.
It's like
because people love you when you win. Now, if he's a winner,
it's like T said, man. They can't have him without having that core issue brought back in their face, and they want that core issue gone. They don't want to deal with it, so they're gonna do everything. The more they push him away, the more they make us talk about why he didn't do this or what. They don't have to deal with the problem with police brutality and social injustice in America. You know what I mean? They want to stay away from it.
It's out of sight, out of mind for them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not that they want black people to get killed by police and murdered by police. It's not that, you know. And it's not that they're racist.
Dallas might. I don't know.
I don't know, but I can't speak for that. But it's not that they want black people to get shot and gunned down by police, which is the same.
They want to keep politics and stuff outside of the game.
No. They just don't want their money being
To
played
get
with.
messed.
They don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, if Kaepernick's situation, if that was helping them gain revenue,
Oh, they'd be all.
he'd be in the lead right now, and they'd be all for it. But since they seen the uproar and the conflict behind it, they have to get him out. They have to weed him out, man.
Yeah.
And you already know how I feel about that.
Yeah,
Like, I don't care if he's out. I don't care if he's in.
Yeah.
I care about the beat of the problem, the situation, and we all know what that is. Let's fix it, period.
If everybody would have rallied behind it, then we would have had a different color ribbon on every NFL jersey, man.
Exactly.
If everybody would have rallied behind it to support it, you know what I mean? Because they would have been able to make money. Everybody would have wanted that jersey with that ribbon on it. It's another jersey people buying to put in their closet to wear on that day when you get a free bobblehead if you wear your black ribbon jersey. I don't know what the hell color it would be. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? It's just like I said, it all comes down to money, man. Money and what's the word? Is it apathy? Yeah, people just not. It ain't my problem. I'm not gonna let you make it my problem. You know, 'cause my granddad used to always say, he'd be like, if anytime he said, I don't care if you need anything, whether it be a ride, $1, a shoulder to crown. He said anytime you even start to broach the subject of you needing them, they change the subject or they just shy away from it. They don't want to hear enough of your problem to where they feel humanly obligated to make it their problem.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And he said as long as it's not their problem or as long as it's not something that they acknowledge, because if people acknowledge something's wrong, you're naturally moved to fix it. And he's like, people just don't want that. They don't want responsibility for dealing with something that's never going to hit their doorstep unless you bring it and sit it down. You know what I mean? So what their best thing to do is keep you off their porch.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You pretty much summed what the Colin Kaepernick situation was or is rather.
Yeah, people don't want
you summed it up, man. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
100%, bro.
Well, with that said, any last words, anything that we didn't touch on the subject? So I guess everybody's going to be watching the Super Bowl, as the taping 2 weeks from now. We're all going to be watching. Matter of fact, Super Bowl party.
I'm watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you watching the Super Bowl.
You watching the Super Bowl.
It's a holiday, man. It's like watching the Macy's Day Parade on Thanksgiving, man.
So who house we going to have the Super Bowl party at?
We took a vote, and you lost.
Yeah,
I guess you
so is that your house?
I'm working. I'll be working, so that's why when I get off, I need to go to someone else's house.
I'll be out of town.
Well,
My cable getting cut off that day.
Yeah, I think all right. So any last words?
370.
Yeah.
San Fran. Wow.
So yeah, it looks like it will be the 49ers.
right now, yeah.
In the Super Bowl. Y'all probably already know this watching online, but we're predicting the future. It's the future. All right. So any last words from y'all? All right. Well, let's nothing. All right,
I'll say, all I'll say,
I have a lot to say about that situation.
I know we were on a lot of different things, and we were mostly in agreement.
Not
but
okay, man.
for anybody out there,
Nope,
if you're passionate about if you're passionately support Kaepernick's stance or just the black condition in America these days, man. Like, stay vigilant, stay active, but always remember, man, everybody that doesn't agree with you right away, that doesn't mean they disagree. They may not know enough, or nobody's ever took the time to give them that perspective like Tarence gave, so they could understand and empathize, man. Be open-minded. If you disagree with how Kaepernick did it, and that's the only conversation you ever had, and you see this, next time just take a chance. Next time somebody brings it up that supports them, and just ask them why and listen. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only way we're gonna make progress on these things. So we ain't got to sit here and have these conversations, man. I got 3 black sons. I don't know if none of y'all have kids yet.
Yeah.
Put that color purple root on you. But like, none of us I don't want to have to worry about that, man. Like, as a black father, the son of a black father, this should be a non-issue in America today, man. But it's only gonna stop being when we talk about it and get past it, man.
And what can I'm sorry.
Oh no, he just pointed at you.
No, I was just gonna say, so everybody, social medias or anything, and social medias and where the people can find you and all that kind of good stuff.
Lavar Moultrie on Facebook. I'm Black Jesus, GSUS on Instagram.
Thomas Pryor on Facebook. 69 Delta Vert on Instagram.
And that's a car, not a person.
Yeah, that's a car.
Or position.
Tarence S. Williams on Facebook, at T_Will_train on Instagram, and you can follow my store as well, www.beastbehavior.com. Thank you.
All right. And I am the Inquisitive Mindoflouist T. It's the Inquisitive Mindoflouist T on Facebook. IMoLT Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe. IMoLT Podcast on Instagram, and hopefully coming soon to your DSPs, digital streaming platforms. And also I'm gonna, we spoke about Kaepernick. He's not playing, so he's getting money from like Nike and stuff like that. But he does have a nonprofit. I don't know what it is to shout it out right now, but if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna try to add a link or something here. So if you do support the cause or whatever, I'll have his link down here. So you hit the little subscribe button, and then down there'll be some links, and I also have some links to some of these guys too. And but yeah, thanks for everybody for coming out. Thank you again, Bourgie Nice, for hosting this. Thank you, Fuzz Jackson. Thanks, Brian Granger. Thank you, Mitch Warnecke. Thank you, Jamie Hansen. Everybody that came out. Terrence, Thomas, Mo. And having this conversation. So we're gonna go ahead and shut the cameras off. Let my man Fuzz host, and actually we got a couple of veterans in the building, so we can get maybe they feel differently than us veterans up here. Mm-hmm. I doubt it, but maybe. And then we're gonna wrap up, go home, and watch the end of the 49ers put the end of whoever they're playing. It's already. It's over already.
It's already over.
The future is now.